President Dr. Hussein Mwinyi warns stern action will be taken against embezzlers. Traders close Rutiginga Road at the Central Market in Musoma Municipal. And in sports, TFF clarifies on Lipuli FC's dues that were to be paid after participating in the Azam Sports Federation Cup last season. Good evening. This is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get started with the national news. The President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, has warned that stern action will be taken against embezzlers and those who are negligent. President Dr. Mwinyi gave the warning at a meeting to commemorate World Ethics and Human Rights Day in Zanzibar that was attended by government leaders and officials.
I'm saying this to prepare people psychologically. Every institution that we will visit, if we find any embezzlement, laziness or theft, I will not hesitate to take strict measures. Serving without caring their differences. Discrimination of any kind is against the law. We must change and serve people with respect.
Traders at the Central Market in Musoma Municipal Mara region closed Rutiginga Road for more than 2 hours to pressurize the removal of vendors who've been selling their wares outside the market, claiming that customers buy from the street vendors instead of buying products in the market.
We've not been listened to, yet we pay tax, and if you can't pay, you're asked to leave. We've come so that we are listened to, because they have blocked us and we are not able to trade. They are allowed to trade anywhere, but while walking. Instead of doing so, they've gone and stationed themselves outside.
Rains accompanied by strong winds have blown away roofs in some houses and classrooms at Makana Secondary School in Makana Village, Manyoni District, Singida region, causing significant loss.
I received a call that some classrooms had been unroofed. In about 2 or 3 villages, we have 42 desks and chairs, so we are waiting for the first to carry out an evaluation.
And Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has called upon Tanzanians to remember the late Bishop at the Anthony Padua Catholic Church in Tanga, which he attended on behalf of President Dr. John Magufuli.
We recognize his contribution. He supported the government, but insisted on love and togetherness amongst Tanzanians. He also participated in community service, be it education, health, or water. We've lost our leader who loved us and brought us together.
Residents of villages from various parts of the country involved with conservation of natural forests have urged the government to increase efforts in prohibiting livestock keepers from taking their herds into the villages and natural forests, as failure to do so will affect ongoing conservation efforts and water sources.
ng'ombe huwa maki wanavamia, kwanza wanapokaa wale wanachukua eneo kubwa sana kukata.
Their cattle take a lot of land, and if you go and speak to them, they become angry. God has put these forests for us, but we cannot ask him to help us if we don't implement the law.
The Minerals Division in Simiyu region has auctioned a total of 93 bags of gold stones that were seized on December 21st this year while being smuggled out of Lubaga No. 2 mine in Dutwa village, Bariadi district.
On the 21st, we arrested businessmen who were smuggling minerals, and they made a confession. One of the people arrested was my sister, but she had a permit signed by the minerals officer. The minerals have been nationalized, and those involved have paid a fine according to laws governing the minerals sector.
Residents of Gator region who have been traveling over 200 kilometers to go to Mwanza and Kagera regions in search of air transport will no longer have to go through the challenge after Air Tanzania Limited begins to provide the service at Gator Airport on January 9th.
Lengo hasa ni kupunguza usumbufu au kusogeza huduma kwa karibu kwa watumiaji wa huduma hizi.
The aim is to bring service closer to the service users. People of Gator had to go either to Mwanza or Bukoba.
Kwa hiyo pamoja na kwamba ni uwanja wa ndege wa ndani,
my request to you is to make this an international airport.
Tumia uwanja huu sasa. Tuna uhakika hifadhi ya Buligi Chato.
I'm sure that now our park will get a lot of customers.
Following the start of rains in Mtwara region, residents of Gezolole, Mtwara, Mkindani Municipal have urged the government to improve water drainage infrastructure, whose construction is stopped for a while now, so as to reduce the threat of floods in their homes.
Kero kubwa la kwanza kabisa, ufereji watufanyie maarifa ikinyamaza mvua hii.
They must take care of the drainage system because we run the risk of our houses collapsing.
Tufika shingoni.
Lengo letu tunoliomba kubwa.
We're asking them to help us with that area over there that is filled with water.
Pakipanuliwa tu kidogo, nafikiri maji yataweza sasa kupita vizuri kutoka kule mpaka kule kwa sababu
if this area is expanded, water will be able to flow with ease.
That's all for national news. International news is next. In international news, thousands of opponents of Nepal's Prime Minister Khadga Prasad Sharma Oli have marched through the street of the capital, Kathmandu, urging him to reverse his decision to dissolve parliament and call for early elections. Defying coronavirus restrictions on gatherings, protesters called Oli's decision unconstitutional while rallying outside his office on Tuesday. On December 20th, the office of President Bidya Devi Bhandari announced dissolution of parliament at the request of Oli's cabinet, with the general election scheduled for April 30th and May 10th, more than a year ahead of schedule. Civil society organizations in Kenya have accused military forces conducting search operations for Al-Shabaab fighters who beheaded a chief last week of harassing citizens. In the operation carried out in Boni Forest in Lamu, Kenya's military force killed 3 Al-Shabaab fighters.
Nilipatikana hapa tukiwa na mwenzangu anaitwa Wairo Muhori, ambapo tulikuwa tunakuja kurekebisha hii gari. Tukapatwa na watu wakaanza kutupiga. Kuingia hapa wakati sisi tunafunga, hakuna kitu swali walituuliza. Ni kutuambia laleni chini, inua mikono juu, toa hizo mabunduki, toeni hizo mabunduki, toeni hizo mabunduki. Sisi tunajaribu kuwaambia sisi hatujui mabunduki.
Sasa wakaja wakaanza kutupiga, wakituambia tutoe mabunduki. Sisi huaga tunapelekea mahali shabab chakula, kisha hata kabla hawajapitishwa vitambulisho walianza kutuchapa kwanza kwa muda wa kama masaa mawili ili waanze kuchukua vitambulisho wetu, ndio wakaangalia wakaona sisi ni akina nani. Kina kuna kitu cha kwanza walipofika, kuna kitu walituuliza kwanza kabla ya vita.
Driven by a faster spreading new variant. Among other restrictions include banning of indoor and outdoor gatherings, and a curfew will be enforced from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. Only workers with permits, including medical and security personnel or emergency staff, may move during the curfew. And civil society organizations in the Democratic Republic of Congo have called for support in their efforts to protect the rights of citizens in the country.
If groups are powerful, they will be able to protect residents. When they are weak, then they cannot raise their voices.
Kazi kwa mashirika ya raia.
COVID-19 has made work difficult, and the virus started from the people who give donations. This means that we cannot continue.
That's all for the international news. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and now in business news. The Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Hussein Bashi, has directed the tea board in the country to protect the local market by ensuring consumers buy tea manufactured by local industries instead of depending on imported tea.
Kwa kuwa ile fedha iko kwenye budget, tuiombe ile fedha hazina tuipate immediately, mwenyekiti.
Because the money is in the budget, we must ask the Treasury so we get it immediately.
80% ya chai ilikuwa inauzia.
A percentage of the tea was sold in Mombasa, but there are challenges to sell Burundi tea in Mombasa.
The investor constructing a 6.5 billion shilling dairy factory in Kagera region has started installing infrastructure for collection and distribution of milk and other dairy products, which will be used once the factory starts production in May of next year.
We will be able to produce yogurt, UHT and other dairy products.
Kiukweli tunamshukuru kwanza mwekezaji huyo.
This will help our livestock keepers get a ready market inside our region.
And the government has directed the National Development Corporation in collaboration with Tanzania Investment Center to speed up completion of the joint investment plan, which will identify businesses, help address challenges and opportunities in the business sector.
Hawa wawekezaji wetu wadogo wadogo tulionao kitu kimoja ambacho wanakwama, hawana fine.
If we have this fund, we will help them to have catalyst fund.
Kwanza ni kuanzisha
By starting up key industries in the country in working with the private sector and other stakeholders.
That is the end of business news. Sports news is next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lent.
And now in sports. Tanzania Football Federation clarified over Lipuli FC's dues that were to be paid for participating in the Azam Sports Federation Cup during the 2018-2019 season. Here's the story.
Lipuli were defeated 1-0 by Azam FC in the final in May 2019, but the local FA has not fully paid the prize money owed to the finalists. Acknowledging the outstanding debt, the TFF have explained why they have not yet paid the money and when they intend to do so. TFF also pleaded with the club officials to desist from sharing official communication documents on unsanctioned forums.
The Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Godwin Mollel, has led a group of more than 200 citizens and in the Siha Marathon, which aims to sensitize society to fight diseases through sports.
This is a call to the health officers in the whole country that they should now start to inspire health habits for people to protect themselves. If we can protect ourselves, a huge percentage of diseases will be reduced.
Everton will request full disclosure of the information Manchester City provided to the Premier League, which led to the postponement of Monday's fixture at Goodison Park hours before kick-off. Here are more details.
City's training ground has been closed for an intermediate period after a number of their players tested positive for COVID-19 following the latest round of testing. The club had confirmed 4 positive tests on Christmas Day, including those for Kyle Walker and Gabriel Jesus, with unconfirmed reports that a further 3 players have now tested positive. The Premier League board meeting agreed to rearrange the fixture after taking medical advice before postponing a game that would have been attended by 2,000 home supporters, a decision that left Everton frustrated and disappointed.
The Brazilian footballer Neymar has been accused of dancing on the graves of coronavirus victims after throwing a week-long New Year's Eve party for scores of celebrity guests despite a surge in COVID-19 infections and deaths.
Brazilian media reports claim that the Neymar Palooza festivities kicked off on Saturday at a seafront mansion in Mangaratiba, a beach town in Rio de Janeiro state. Rio is among the Brazilian regions grappling with the resurgence in the epidemic, which has killed at least 191,146 people in the country, the second highest death toll in the world. Authorities have cancelled Copacabana Beach's New Year's Eve celebrations, and health experts are imploring residents to stay at home, with hospitals and intensive care units reaching capacity. On Sunday, Brazil's Vice President Hamilton Mourão became the 16th senior member of Jair Bolsonaro's far-right administration to test positive for COVID.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. I'm Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and good night.